So I know with a lot of the companies out there, especially over the last, I don't know, 8, 10 months or so, with the explosion of ChatGPT and just AI in general, you're seeing a lot of companies adjust the way they describe themselves and their language and their marketing that they put out there to talk about being an AI company or doing AI now. How do for our audience that's listening to this, how should they be viewing that? It seems like some companies really are, adding new capabilities that are AI capabilities to kind of bring their product to the next level, while others are just kind of throwing it in there so they're not left out in that discussion, or they at least check the box to say, "Hey, I also do AI." How should the audience be kind of um, looking into that when they're maybe working with a vendor or looking into different vendors and seeing this AI brought up all the time in an IoT company?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Certainly, a lot of companies that are trying to raise funding or trying to go public or anything want to latch themselves onto the AI hype. Now, there is a lot of hype around AI. There's a lot of misunderstanding of what's possible practically with AI, but it is moving really, really quickly. So things that a lot of people didn't think could happen, including the people working on it, are starting to happen because they're hitting scale that they couldn't simulate before. And now all of a sudden, the algorithm prediction capabilities are getting incredibly good. Um, so I think for a customer looking, there's another play. In addition to the marketing for financial reasons that any company would now latch themselves onto AI. See, every tool we use internally, we use tons of tools. They're all announcing AI, Coda AI, Figma AI. Everyone has AI, right? So, in that case, they're just sort of playing up to the marketing. It's probably just a feature that they've added. But they can say that it's AI because ultimately they're doing some sort of predictive thing or things that the consumers are used to calling AI. But there is also a lot of things that have been done forever, or not forever, for many, many years that now all of a sudden are getting tagged as AI more actively from a marketing standpoint. For instance, I just read, our audience may have heard about Paul McCartney was able to extract John Lennon's voice using AI to essentially create a lost track, right? And before they didn't have it isolated, and they used AI to isolate just his voice so they could then record all the instrumentation underneath of it new, but it still would be the original Lennon voice. There's a product, and I actually, as a musician, I've used it called Lalal, Lal .ai, that has been doing this for several years. And it's essentially just frequency analysis where they can take all the audio spectrum and they can isolate certain types of sounds in certain frequencies, such as voices or guitars or drums. And you can now separate that out from a fully mixed album. So that's like an application of AI, but it's really frequency analysis. And there's probably algorithms similar to AI built into that tool, but it's not like they just invented this. This has been going on for a while. And so everything's kind of an evolution of what's been done. The AI piece is kind of getting layered on, and it's really confusing the market too, because if everyone does AI, then how does a buyer know what matters, right? If everyone's doing AI, so how do I know? So I think for a buyer that really is looking at sensor-enabled decisioning, they have to look at, well, what is the AI actually being used for in that product or service? And is it going to help me do a better job with this new sensor data, as opposed to just create, just adding a new term to some marketing as the same exact product that they've always been selling. So it is difficult for customers, and it's difficult. This happens in every bubble. Anything with a .com in the early 2000s was worth $1 billion. And then people realize, okay, maybe not. So the customers, as we get through the hype cycle, they will start to get smarter about asking about what specifically are you doing with AI and what is the value created.